What were some things you thought about Sanda that as you started training, you're like, ooh, I got to re-examine my paradigm?
I think that a couple things were like how much traditional martial arts were implemented into there and how modern combat sports impact the training. Like for example, there's a lot of like boxing that's involved as opposed to a lot of the traditional martial arts that were involved and just straight wrestling techniques. But I was also surprised about the influence about Jiao, which is Chinese wrestling, because I would assume that most of the traditional martial arts were more of the like striking techniques, which there are, of course, but there's also a lot of the influence of the swai because because there's only 3 seconds in the clinch in amateur sanda, you're only allowed to do fast wrestling techniques, which is one of the nicknames of kwai jiao, which is like fast wrestling, is very influencing on the sanda sport.
What is your training camp like right now?
So a couple of our guys are preparing for Worlds. My teammate Jared Whitler is going to Worlds in September in Brazil, and right now the training camp's really intense. Yesterday we did like a lot of boxing, and I think that is influenced by a lot of the modern combat sports. But at the same time, my Sifu Yangpan trains with the traditional martial arts a lot of the time, and the Swaja. Swaja affects both of our training systems.
Do you think there's anything that Sanda could improve on in its whether overall or a specific detail when it comes to either its training or its combat paradigms?
I think that a lot of the Sanda techniques are very effective in the ability to transition from striking to takedowns. I think that a lot of the drills, because there are very variance in skills, like you can punch, you can kick, or you can do a takedown, it becomes harder to add a lot of the smaller things that I think boxing fills a lot of holes in that, like, oh, I need to move this way or that way, angles and footwork that boxers are so good at, as opposed to doing a lot of back and forth one way in a line, which is great when you have to deal with a lot of skills like punching, kicking, and takedowns. But the boxing really has made a big impact, and I realized that myself as well. For me personally, I need that boxing in order to improve upon my hands and my ability to move my feet and use my footwork to set up my strikes. Because, as Ramsey Dewey said, boxing isn't the art of punches; it's the art of footwork.
Do you think that's a common kind of paradigm shift, as in a lot of people training in Sanda are really working those boxing footworks more than, let's say, before 20 years ago?
I wasn't alive 20 years ago, but I can assume that 20 years ago, the sport of boxing has really influenced Sanda. In part, it's the slide job rule set that touching the ground is considered a takedown even with your hands. But it's also in boxing, if you go down to your knee or to your hands, then that's considered knockdown. And the we also have a 10 count rule. And the boxing is much more influential than, say, a Muay Thai fight, not to bag on Muay Thai, because in Muay Thai they have a ring, and the first 2 rounds don't really count for anything because you are focused on betting and all of that. And they have a ring that prevents you from going outside, as opposed to a Lei Tai, which is a raised platform. If you get to the edge of the platform and your ring generalship is bad, you get pushed out of the ring, and then that gives you points as well.
How often do you spar a Muay Thai guy?
I spar Muay Thai guys all the time, and it's very common to do that because in America, it's hard for me to find as many Sanda gyms, although it's a very big growing sport, and Arizona especially is growing way bigger in MMA gyms, in pure Sanda gyms, etc. But I believe that traditional Muay Thai is very scarce because I often find a lot of MMA gyms just teaching basically Dutch kickboxing and with knees and elbows, which isn't really traditional Muay Thai. I just helped my friend open up his Muay Thai gym, St. Salim Muay Thai, which is amazing. By the way, shout out that gym, shout out Kyrie. He opened up his gym and got a lot of people from ex Muay Thai to come into the gym for open sparring, and I sparred everyone, and it was great.
What is something that, let's say, you might have used to have a little issue dealing with in Muay Thai that now you've improved on, or have you always been okay dealing with the Muay Thai paradigm or the Dutch kickboxing paradigm?
For Muay Thai, if I'm doing Muay Thai rules, I have like the muscle memory to shoot every 5 seconds and reap the legs for a takedown and all of that. One of the things that I struggled with was getting sweeps where I can not take more than 2 steps and not reaping the legs, not shooting takedowns and all of that. And one big thing that a lot of Sanda guys overlook is the high clench and the ability to like shut people down with knees and stuff. Especially you can't grab their legs, so the only really option is to pummel or push the head away. And I think that I struggled with that for a little while, but I think what's gotten me better is A, just doing more Muay Thai, and then B, using the Sanda techniques to off balance and trip them, because Muay Thai guys, they have a really good base and it's hard to trip them. But getting them to just move without focusing on the trip and then following up with your own strikes has helped me tremendously from both a Muay Thai perspective and a Sanda perspective.
Basically, what you're describing is exactly what's happening in the match I'm covering, which is that the Muay Thai guy's base is amazing. So the Sanda guy's having trouble sweeping him, and he's also having trouble shooting in.
Mhm.
So he's having a lot of trouble. He's basically only landing side kicks and once in a while getting a throw, but it's not enough. Muay Thai guys piecing him up in the boxing range. So it's like everything we're talking about is basically what we're seeing. But this was 2003, this match I'm covering. So it's so funny that Sanda's evolved, right? That's how every sport should be, every art should be.
It's very odd, actually. I think the paradigm shift has like flipped the opposite way. I think that the Sanda guys now have more of a boxing advantage over the Muay Thai guys who stand on their back foot. 2003 was before I was born, but I could assume that, especially the non-Americans, they didn't focus too much on the hands.
Exactly. It was a Chinese Sanda team. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could tell their boxing was just not as good as the Muay Thai team.
Mhm.
Tell me about Brazil. Is this event held in Brazil every year? Or does it shift locations?
So 2 years ago, it was in America actually for the first time ever. And since I said actually went there with the team that I'm with right now, with Coach Lee, with Coach Corey, with Coach Bruce Wong, and Coach Bruce Wong actually placed second place at World, which is the highest medal for any Sandan male ever. And I just saw him today, and he's coaching us. So it's very it's weird to see him on the screen and see him win so many things and see him get knockouts and all of that, and then also see him like in person. It's a weird aura, you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. And do you know who your opponents are going to be?
I'm not competing because I'm injured, but Jared Whitler is competing. He knows a couple of them, one of which he fought at Pan Americans and he got a draw with, but he lost because he lost on the bracket because for a tie match in Sanda, it goes to whoever is lighter in the weight class for the weigh-ins.
I like that rule. That's a really good rule. I like that rule. I didn't know that. So you just taught me something. I love that rule. Give credit to the little guy, basically.
Yeah.
So basically, you're injured and you're just helping them train. And will you go to Brazil with them to be there with them?
I'm going to Taiwan, so probably not.
I see. So maybe in Taiwan you'll see Chilala. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm talking to him. I'm planning to train with him in Sheila in Taiwan.
That's awesome. Well, dude, I think this is a good little stopping point. I'll put this whole talk on Fight Commentary chats, and then the sections that relate to the Sanda match I'm covering, I'll put it on Fight Commentary breakdowns. So
Yes.
everyone, if you see this on Fight Commentary chats, make sure to see the video that prompted this interview, and I will link Ryan's channel on both channels. So thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.